When I want to go back in time, I don't lean on H.G. Wells. I don't need that time machine. Maybe Mary Wells, possibly Junior Wells, when I want to go back. Music does that. In fact, I'll tell you something interesting. Whenever I hear Why Do Fools Fall in Love, I'm 15. I'm in Astoria, Queens. I'm sitting on the stoop across the street from St. Rita's Church with my boyhood crush, Kathy. And I'm standing on the slippery slope that is my first kiss. Music. You give me chestnuts roasting on an open fire, I'm 17, and Kathy's my girlfriend. So much for first kisses, huh? And I'm in Rockefeller Center, and I'm staring up that enormous tree, taking in the lights and the sights and the sounds of what it feels like to be a 17-year-older, terribly in like, quite possibly in love, most definitely in lust, taking in Christmas in Midtown. I love it. Music does some other things too. It kind of tacks history down for us. It tacks moments in time down for us. You don't have to look back pretty far. Go back 400 or 500 years, 1700s, and you get this picture of these settlers looking to strike out on their own. They pack up wife, weapon, and wagon, and they traverse some serious terrain. We're talking about hostile Indian environments, snowy trails, barren deserts, and when they got to the place they liked, they'd stake it, they'd raise a few buildings, and you know how they celebrate? Shindig. Good old-fashioned shindig. Yeah, they'd roast a pig, slaughter a cow, but at the center of that deal was that doggone hoedown. Huh? You get that guy with that wash pail turned upside down with the string attached to the board, plucking away as a bass. You get some guy who was fiddling. If you could fiddle back then, you always had work, just for the record. He'd be fiddling away. You get the guitars going. You have a harmonica. And let me tell you, the hoedown was in full effect. And they talk about that square dancing hoedown for days to come. And when things got crazy, they'd use music as a sturdy and constant structure to rally around, to create community. Fact of the matter is this. When this theme came to me, how to build a healthy community, music jumped right out at me. It's always been a constant and sturdy structure for community to rally around. Just as important, there are some more historical moments that it's pinned down for us. I'll give you some help. You go back, if you're around at this time, you know what I mean. You go back to the 60s. You get Mahalia Jackson screaming, "Oh, happy day." Still melts me when I hear it. And you get Sam Cooke singing, "Change is gonna come." And that music, right then, and even right now, gave us some perspective on how to traverse the rocky terrain that was the civil rights movement. Same time, different place, a little grassy meadow up here in Woodstock, New York. You had Creedence Clearwater Revival belting out tunes. You had Crosby, Stills, and Nash and Young singing "Tin Soldiers and Nixon's Coming." We're finally on our own. Helped you get your head around what was later the Kent tragedies, the Kent State tragedies. But it also gave us some idea of what the hippie counterculture was about. Music. It's relevant and important, and most importantly, valuable. It has everything to do with community. As the man said, I'm a musician. And as every musician, I wanted to be in a band. And a band, much like community, is the sum total of its parts. We come into the room as equal members. We pour our ideas in the middle. And what comes out, not all the time, but hopefully most of the times, is music. That music, it enriches us. It enriches that musical community. We play the music for you and everyone else. And by proxy, you become an extension of that musical community, and we enrich each other. And hopefully you tell someone else, and they become enriched. Music. Funny story. The music I came out to, I'm sure someone is saying, this guy must really have some issues here. He came out to fame. Who does he think he is? And I'll tell you why. There's a memory lock to that moment. Some time ago, I was being arrested and fingerprinted. Needless to say, it was a horrible moment, a crappy moment. But what I remember about that moment, and when I want to remember that moment, is that song. Because that's the doggone song that was spilling out of the precinct radio while I was being fingerprinted. And however ironic it was, it didn't make any sense at the time. I just thought it was kooky as hell. Like, why is Bowie playing and I'm being fingerprinted? It's got to be a connection there, I guess, somewhere, somehow. The bottom line is this. We have gathered here today. This is not a wedding. We've gathered here today to do, or what I hope to do, what I believe has everything and so much to do with community. And that's to celebrate music, to really hold it and grab it and raise it up and celebrate it for being what it is. And that's magical and wonderful and helpful and remindful and anything else full you can think of. Music. It's the soundtrack to my life. It's the soundtrack to your life, if you can find it. What's in it? Is it Creedence? I'm not saying you're old. I'm just saying. Is it Creedence? Is it Zeppelin? Is it Rush? Is it Marvin Gaye? Whatever it is, listen to it. Don't just hear it. Listen to it. It will enrich you. It will enrich your soul. And it will show you a portion of yourself that you didn't know existed. My name is Shedrick Blackwell, and I absolutely love music. Thank you.